Just need to put a couple of decals on the top of these air cleaner housings. Ready to go on. Welcome back to another plastic model build. This time we're going to be building the 57 Chrysler 300C AMT Ertl kit, 1/25th scale. This is a 1999 kit. So been around for a few years, but still sealed. Chrysler built 1,767 of these 300Cs. They were considered, I guess, a luxury car. Had a lot of upscale features. My plan is to build this in the red like you see on the cover of the box. So let's hope that the body is molded in white or a light color. Doesn't say on the box anywhere. A lot of times it will, but this one it doesn't. So let's open it up and see what's inside. Not many decals. Instructions. Magazine you can subscribe to. Probably no longer in business. Here's some specifications on the car. Engine's a 392. V8, overhead valves, 375 horse. Torque flight transmission. Torsion bar suspension. Leaf springs in the rear. There's your wheelbase, length, shipping weight. Base price was $4,864, which was quite a bit in 1957. Body's molded in gray, so that makes it a lot easier to paint. Few chrome parts, not many. The glass, 4 tires. And this has the white wall inserts, and here's what they look like. They just snap into the tire. Tail lights, and here's all the rest of the parts. Quite a few parts to this kit. More than a lot of kits have. I think it said, yeah, 120 plus parts. Get these parts out of the bag and we'll look them over. This fell off. That's I'm thinking something, the oil filter on the engine or something. So I want to make sure we hang on to that. Here are all the available body colors. That white, red, black, green, and copper brown. So we're going with the red. And it looks like we have tan interior, or the seats are tan. Dash is black. Front seat's tan. Rear seat tan, and gloss black on the package shelf. It's telling us the colors that need to be painted on each part, so that's good. If you watched me build a kit on a previous video, you know I do a lot of painting with a brush. The bodies with spray paint, but I paint all I can with a brush on engine parts, interior. This is a table I use to assemble my models. So you can see I've done a lot of painting on this. We just roll back the black cloth and it won't hurt this at all because it's already dinged up really good. Use this box cutter. We'll trim the parts, get them ready to paint. Here's how I do the parts that are attached to the trees. I'll first see if they need to be trimmed with any slag. And once I do that, then I'll, like the steering wheel, I'll cut one side loose where I can paint all of it but where that final attachment point is. And then once that paint dries, I'll cut it off and finish it up. Same thing with the horns, the rear end. It's got one attachment point. Same with the exhaust. A little better example. I've cut all 5 of these parts loose on one side. Cut the tree right there, and then we'll cut the other end. And now we can still hold it, paint all of it except where it's attached. Okay, we're ready to paint. Those get body color. The seats, that's the back of the front seat. Seats and the interior panels, they'll be painted tan. And then, of course, there's some touching up to do on the panels once we get the tan paint on. The door handles, armrests, etc. And I've been painting silver. Now we're doing gloss black. And this is Tester's paint, but it's water-based. And I really like it. It dries fast, easy cleanup. So just been finishing up the gloss black pieces. Here's the frame, what I've already painted, and that's one coat. Coverage is really good. And like I say, I started at that end, working my way to the front, and by the time I get to the front, this is already dry, so I can hold it and finish it up. Paint comes in the little bottles just like the regular Tester's oil-based paint, which is what I've been using. This is good paint, but you do have to clean your brush out with some acetone or paint thinner, where this is just water-based. I'll finish up this frame, and then look on the instruction sheet, see if there's anything else that needs to be painted gloss black. Water-based acrylic paint, I'm a fan of it. I like it. Now I'm painting flat black on the carpet area of the interior, and using my pointed tip brush. That center area would be a floor mat, and that'll be painted gloss black. And front and rear floor mats, all painted. Okay, silver, flat black, and gloss black painted. So let's move on. Now we're painting the front and rear seats. This is a light brown water-based paint, and I'm using that small pointed brush. And I will go back with a second coat. Unless I've missed something, I have all the parts painted with brush. There are the door panels, they're detailed. I can do steps 1 through 4. Yeah, every step on these 3 pages. Painting the center of the wheels red, like shown on the box there. So I've finished 3 of them, but I wanted to show you how I'm doing it. I'm just dipping this pick into the paint When you touch the center of the wheel, the paint transfers. A lot easier than trying to take even a small paintbrush like this, trying to get down in the center of those wheels. Worked out well. These are called easy white walls. They just snap into the tire. Pretty neat idea. You just molded the tire where that white wall will fit down in there. And now we need a wheel. And where we trimmed that slag off, we'll put a little chrome paint. Both sides. Use a paint pen. A little bit of slag left on that white wall. Let's get that off. Looks better. Rear of the wheel. You got to put the pegs that slide onto the suspension through the wheel, and don't glue them, just where they'll move, the wheel will move. We scrape off the chrome where the glue will go. Scrape the paint off this edge. Glue won't stick on top of paint. Put the front in first so we won't take a chance on getting glue on it. A little glue just around the perimeter. Use the old standby tester's glue. Ready to go on. So now we'll set them aside and we'll start with step 1, engine. Okay, engine is complete. Just need to put a couple of decals on the top of these air cleaner housings. Lots of parts on this engine, but it's really highly detailed. I like that. Next step is interior. I have all my parts laid out, so let's get this put together. Before we put the steering column on the dash, I wanted to show you the gauge decals. Not many decals with this model. Those 3, those 2 go on the air breathers on the engine that I mentioned. There's a finished interior. Rear view mirror. That's up on the front of the dash. All right, front and rear suspension installed. A little more finishing to do here. A couple of shocks. And then the drive shaft and the engine. A little touching up to do. These attachment points where I scrape the paint away. So once everything dries, we'll go back and touch that up. Chassis is completed. Touched up the places where we had to scrape the paint for glue. So we can do one more step before we need the body, and that's mating up the interior to the chassis. As far as we can go on assembly, this far wall is body color, so it'll have to be painted with the body. That's next. As I mentioned, that paint is between red and pink, I guess you'd call it. It's called a Gauguin red, and that was actually named after the painter. That was his shade of red that he used. So here's what I've come up with. This is a poppy red. And it may be a little brighter, but that's about as close as I could come with the Rust-Oleum 2-in-1 paint and primer. Here are the parts that will be painted the red. Radiator support. These are hood hinges. And you can use them or not, and I'm going to use them. That way the hood will be open all the time and you can see the engine. Firewall, and of course the hood and the body. One thing we need to keep in mind when we spray this, we've got some headliner sun visors that we need to detail. There's even a light on each side. So when I paint this, of course I'm going to paint inside too, all the underneath, and I'll just fog the red paint where it won't be as thick right there. Headliner is tan, and then we have chrome, and then the light is of course silver with a white lens. So quite a bit of detailing to do there. Just a little sanding. Now we're going to wash it off and ready to paint it. Three coats of the red. Now this is a matte finish, so I'm going to have to spray some clear on top. But we have good coverage. No runs, looks good. So now we'll put just one coat of the 2X clear. Rust-Oleum, a good quality paint. As I've said before, prep is what it's all about. Just a light sanding, thorough cleaning, and the paint will lay down really well. It's been 2 days since I painted. I'm okay with that color. It's not a perfect match with the box, but so I need to let this dry at least a couple more days. And I can go ahead and start detailing this firewall. And firewall mounted. Paint the springs on the hood hinges, aluminum. Paint the battery caps red. And have the radiator mounted in the core support with the two horns back side of the radiator. Not too bad for an amateur. So next we'll attempt the chrome around the windshield, back glass, and the gutter rail. Well, good stopping point there on the body. I think I have all the trim painted. This hood does have Chrysler across the front, so I don't know if I could tackle that or not. My detailing skills on small things is not the best. I'm going to look at it and may try it. Bad. Those letters are so small they're hard to read anyway. Working on these headlights and taillights. Headlight lenses are in. We touched up the chrome where they were attached to the parts tree. And these taillights have a white backup light at the very bottom. So I want to show you a simple way of doing that. Using my pick again. Just a little dab of paint. Most of our trim pieces are dry, so let's proceed. Mounted the front and rear glass. Mounted the gas cap, license plate. Next step is to mate the body over to the interior. Done some test fitting previously, and this is a tight fit. All right. Here at the back, the frame goes in these two slots. There's tabs on the frame. We got to get those in there. All right, now we're in. Front and rear bumpers installed. Tail lights. We're just letting gravity help us out. Holding pressure on the front bumper, and the rear bumper will stay down in those two holes that it mounts in. Till the glue dries. Just a few more parts to install. So, rear view mirror, front grille, let's put the headlights in next. So, two more things. The antenna, and we have this bracket that goes between the front grille and the radiator support. This kit was very challenging for me. Lots of engine compartment detail and lots of trim to paint on the outside of the body. But I really like this kit. Let's take a look at the interior. Try to get you a shot of it. Now you'll notice I don't have the hood on, and you can choose to just display it with the hood on, or you can mount these hood hinges, and that props the hood up so you can see the engine. There's underneath the hood too. I forgot to show you that. And that completes the build on this 1957 Chrysler 300C AMT model kit. And what's our next build going to be? The Land Rover Series 3 109. Thanks for watching.
We hope you've enjoyed the video. And if you did, how about giving us a like and subscribe to our channel? Thanks.